Stop using only income profit margins as a scale for your success. Just stop. It's not the only way to measure whether or not you are leading a successful life. And I have Lonnie here today. She's going to tell us a little bit about herself, why this topic matters to her, and why it should matter to you. Lonnie, welcome to the show.
Hey, I'm so excited to be here. Thank you so much for having me. As you said, I'm Lonnie Jackson. I'm a business strategist and mindset coach for women entrepreneurs and business owners. And I am a little bit different as a coach and as a business strategist because I don't want to approach our businesses anymore just from income. I know everybody's like, you got to make 10K months, 100K months. We have all of these measures. But really, when I have dove in with hundreds of women now to say, like, what is it that you really want? It's not the dollar signs that they really want. It's a profit in time, a profit in energy, and a profit in fulfillment that the income then allows them to produce a really beautiful life. And honestly, they want to enjoy today, not the someday when I make that much money. So if you've been frustrated that you're like, hey, I'm trying to make this money, or maybe I am making this money, but I feel all these other things, it might be because you're measuring only one area of profit. And that is why I'm so passionate about talking about this subject.
And there you are, mic drop. Honestly, like this is such a real experience, even for myself. I'm sitting back thinking, I am so blessed to be able to take my summer off to be with my kids.
Yeah.
I'm not
Yeah.
saying, I am so blessed to be able to close this big deal worth this much money. That's just not a reality for me. And it's not a reality for many people, especially women.
Especially women. Especially. And I think that's one of the traps we fall into is that we start to then judge ourselves and say, well, I'm not making this much, or I haven't hit this goal yet. And so I've got to work harder and I've got to hustle more. And we put so much pressure and judgment. And then mom guilt comes in, or business guilt comes in, or our overwhelm and our bodies start breaking down. We have anxiety, or maybe you're just exhausted and you have brain fog because you're just pulled on every end. And we're multifaceted people. This is not what we signed up for in the first place. Otherwise, why did you leave your 9-to-5 job?
Abso-freaking-lutely. I'm telling you, how many conversations do I have with people? I'm going to say almost daily, where they
Yes.
bring up symptoms of burnout.
Yes.
And then I'm here asking them, okay, so you're experiencing these things, but what can we change? What can we shift in order to make sure that, number one, we start to lean away from that burnout? Because remember, there's no quick fix. But then number two, we get into a cycle where burnout becomes not an option. And
Right.
this is where your method comes in, where we're measuring far more than just income to measure, to really embody our success.
Yes.
Let's talk about those things, because I know you've got a list of things that you typically go through with your clients.
Yes, absolutely. We start with time. One of the biggest things as women entrepreneurs, we start a business so that we could have more freedom, more flexibility for our family. So we can not, we don't have to have measure like, do I have enough days off and PTO and sick time that I can take? So that's the whole reason we start this business. But then that's the first thing we give up and we compromise. And we start to fill up all this time. We're getting up really early in the morning. We're working late at night. We're working through hours with the kids, and we're on our phones instead of being present. And so we so quickly compromise our time. And if we don't have that under control, if we let that go and we're in a deficit of time, we could make a lot of income. We could make a lot of money, but what was the whole point of us not working 40 hours a week when we end up working 60, right? So really being cognizant and making a plan for my time on both sides of the coin. One, to say, I'm going to show up and intentionally work this much time so that I treat my business like a business and commit to it. Not just saying, oh, I did one thing this day and then this day it's being really random, but also on the flip side, not overworking and overcommitting ourselves to serve clients and be online all the time and so much demand from us. So there's that coming in and finding that time.
That can
It
be
can
so
be.
hard.
It's the number one struggle.
Yeah, because when you're thinking about, oh man, you know what, I really want, because typically, we're in business. We really do want to help people and
Mhm.
want to be able to be available to them. We want to be solving the problems we've promised to solve. And so we're there, and it's so amazing. But it's foolhardy to treat yourself and your business under the representation of a martyr. That's not
Mhm.
going to help anybody. It's not going to give yourself a full life. It's not going to give your potential children or whoever or whatever it is in your life that you want to feed into. You're not going to have the time for that. What's the point of it all?
Yes.
I
Yeah.
know I'm going to ask you some of the strategies that you might implement in order to create that structured time. But I know for myself, I had like an unplugged time where at the
Mhm.
end of my day, I said, no, I'm not working evenings. Now, there's a little asterisk for unless I've got a client in Australia. That's a different
Yeah.
story. but that's a few and far between special circumstance.
Yes.
Typically, I say no. When my kids are off school, I'm off work. I go and
Yes.
I pick them up, and I am unavailable. I'm here
Mhm.
with my children. I'm making dinner. I'm playing soccer. I'm doing whatever that is, because that was the point. That was the reason.
Yes.
So what are
Yes.
some of the
I
other
agree.
ideas?
Yeah, that's the first thing I always start with my clients, with myself. So if I'm working with a new client, first tell them like how many hours do you want to work a week or a month? And sometimes we don't measure in a week. So I don't predict every week to be the same because it's not always the same, but I know approximately in a month I work 75 to 80 hours a month. That's my time I have available. And because I understand how much time I'm available to work at my business, I then can determine if I'm priced and my packages are set up correctly to allow me to even hit the income goals that I have. Because if I am not priced correctly and my offers don't match the time I have available, I could actually be setting myself up to never hit my income goals. So, for instance, let's say you are a virtual assistant and you have 5 hours a week that you want to work in your business, and you're priced at $25 an hour and you want to make $5,000 a month. You will never hit your goals of 5,000 because if you max out your time 5 hours a week at $25 an hour, you're never going to hit it. The math doesn't math. So we have to
This
start
math ain't
with
mathing.
you put the boundaries around your time. And like the first thing I do is I go and I mark off all the time I want for my kids. I put a day for my kids for appointments. I mark off our family vacations. I mark off our trips. Days off. I put that on my calendar first. Then I see how much time I have available. Then I maximize that time. So I have a system called the Time Profit Maximizer, where we take the time that you have and we're going to maximize all the activities with you. Because I don't know about you, I've been very good at taking a 10-minute task and pushing it into an hour, right?
Right? And no
So
matter the task you have, it will grow or shrink to the time that you give it.
exactly, exactly. And then also making sure every task that I put on my list, that never ending CVS link to-do list
Yes.
of what you have to do to grow your business, is all of that necessary? So really determining my priorities. What is my profit priorities? What are my power priorities for my business? And if I do those things only, my business will grow. Everything else is sprinkles on top. But we get caught up in, oh, I'm going to sit in Canva and play with this design for 2 hours. That's not going to make me cash. But what
Absolutely.
will make me cash is my connection marketing strategy. That takes me only a little bit of time. So these are the things we need to really be mindful of, because if we can maximize our time and have that profit and keep that boundary, I enjoy my business and it will predictably grow.
And what I'm hearing, and this is like my favorite, I was kind of hoping you were going to say this because I don't know. I ask these questions. I don't know what's going to come out of your mouth.
Yes.
But I'm really hoping you were going to say something to the effect of putting your time first, because that is
Mhm.
the first step in all the things that I preach as well. And I
Yes.
tell people I've got the 90-day marketing map where I say, okay, look, number one on this thing is, what are you doing for you? You,
Right.
your family,
Right.
what are your personal goals and priorities? And you put that on the map first. I love that you
Yes.
said that. And one of the reasons why I love that you said that is because it feeds into your second measure of success.
And that's energy, because I don't know about you, I am a woman, right? And we have ebbs and flows with our energy. And
Right.
sometimes that can match with our cycles for the week or the month, excuse me. Or it could be, maybe our kids aren't sleeping through the night, or maybe we have a emergency in the family. Maybe the season that we're going through, like May was really hard for me as a business owner with my energy, because I was pulled in a lot of directions. My kids' stress levels were high because of finals and all these things. So really factoring in the energy levels that I have and making sure that I feel good and excited. One, I have the energy to serve my people and be in my business, but also making sure my business isn't taking away my energy. And if we're doing strategies that are sucking our soul dry, I mean, I talk to so many women who are like, I have to be doing a live every single week, and I don't want to. And I'm like, then why are you doing it?
We'll say
If
red flag
that doesn't,
right there. If you catch
yes.
yourself saying, I have to, you
Mhm.
need to look into what you're doing.
Yeah. So what if we said, I have permission to align my strategies with my energy flow and also what feels good to me and my energy? Because the way you do your business, Shauna, is definitely different than the energy I bring to my business. We're both very high drive women, but I get burnt out energetically, and I also like these things. And we're gonna start to talk, and be like, we're similar but also different. So how are we leaning into that energetic flow and making sure that we're aligned? Because I don't want to be so depleted at the end of the day that when I do have time with the people I love, my favorites is what I call them. Um, I want to be able to still give them my energy. I don't want to be sitting laying on the couch like, oh my God, I'm dead, and cranky with
Absolutely.
them.
And that's and it can be very simple, really.
Mhm.
A lot of people get really caught up in the checkbox mentality
Yes.
of the whole system,
Yes.
and it's like, no, it's okay. A great example is last week. It was the beginning of June, which houses my birthday, my son's birthday, as well as a number of other volunteer type of big events that I contribute to. And I looked at it and I said, you know what, I know that this is going to be an energy suck for me, not in a bad way,
Hmm.
but I'm an
Hmm.
introvert. People don't believe me when I say that, but I'm an outgoing introvert. So all of
Yes.
the peopling that's involved in those events, I know will suck my energy dry. So I very much intentionally blocked off the time and did not hold calls. I said, I'm not doing calls this week. Sorry, guys. Not sorry, but
Yeah.
this is how I
Yeah.
protect my energy. So today I can show up, have a conversation with you, and feel like I get to talk to Lonnie on my podcast today.
Yeah.
I don't, oh man, I've got to do a podcast. Like it's nothing
Yeah.
like that. And that's where you
Yes.
can feel that flow.
Yes. And deciding to do strategies and honoring yourself, that those strategies that like really light me up, and then also honoring myself for refueling. So it's that give and take, saying, okay, what are the things that really do light me up? How can I do more of those? Because everyone has different things. And then also the things that do deplete me, how am I restoring my energy? Because we do have to do some things that deplete us energetically, but making sure that we honor that, because I want to enjoy my life and lifestyle now, not wait for someday when my money matches like that ultimate goal. And like, I think it'll all problem solved.
Yeah, absolutely. That when then mentality. I
Yes.
actually recently talked about that because my husband and I decided a number of years ago that we didn't really care that there were different things going on in our lives. We wanted to see our favorite musicians now,
Oh, yeah, I love that.
because we've had so many of them unfortunately pass away before we could even see them, and we said, this is
Mhm.
nuts. We want to see these people live. We enjoy concerts, we enjoy
Right.
just the experience, the ambiance of the whole thing. And so we made that choice. We said, no, it's now. It's not when
Mhm.
this then that. No, now. You don't know what tomorrow will bring.
Yes, exactly,
It makes a
exactly.
huge difference, and we got to see some of our favorites more recently, because we made that choice.
I love
There were
that.
like surprise guest appearances that we would have missed if we had said, I don't know.
Yeah,
It makes a difference.
exactly.
And so my life is fuller that way because I've been able to manage my energy, because I've been able to reclaim control over where I spend my energy.
Mhm.
Um, but that's not the end of it, because within that within having the time, within having the energy, I also have this sense that like my life is full. I like to
Mhm.
say the words, I'm living fully. And that's one of the elements that you look into as well, which I think is just amazing.
Yes. So ultimately, I really see like so many women. Like I have a community that's free. That's 7,000 plus women now. It's a Facebook group for women entrepreneurs, but specifically mom entrepreneurs. But any woman is welcome to join. But I ask questions when they come in, and so many of them have this deep desire to leave an impact. They have this deep desire to build a legacy. They have a deep desire to show value and to help the person beneath them, or to spread this joy and love, or to be the person that they didn't have when they were growing up. Like they have this deep desire to have fulfillment, impact, all these things. And their business model often reflects that, and they want that. So why don't we do that now? You don't have to be a big name and, a household name, somebody who's known across all the industry, to be able to have fulfillment in your business, and to be, everyone's word is different. So I like to have people put out, what is that word that means to you? Like some people put down freedom, some people impact is their word. Some people is just all these other things. You get to define it. That's the amazing thing. But bringing a fulfilling life to yourself, and then ultimately a fulfilling, long lasting piece of yourself that we truly do want to have, and you can have as a business owner.
I'm curious because I joined your Facebook community,
Yes.
and I don't know what I put. I wouldn't be able to reflect on that and even come up with the right word for it. I know that of myself. So I'm curious to know your opinion on the evolution of that word, whether or not you really you believe that it is so multifaceted that it could change, or whether or not there's at least one or a group of words that people typically stick to.
I think it expands. So as I work with clients, I'm a big fan of working with clients long term. So some of my clients have been working with me 5 and 4 years.
Yeah.
And when we first started working, their impact and vision was one way, but it morphs and changes absolutely. And one of my big words to attach to my energy is flexibility and sustainability. And I look at the piece of fulfillment to say, like, it flexes with the change of my lifestyle, maybe as I expand and narrow in what I truly want, maybe as I see results from my clients or as results from my family. But ultimately, on 90% of the time, I see an underlying theme with the women I work with, is that they all have this passion. And most 90% of the time, it's always like that. I want to help that next person, and I want to empower my children. There's some impact to leaving something behind for their families, as well as helping other people around them, because I like, and that's really truly like my ideal client anyway, somebody who has that value in the first place. So I think I attract them a little bit more too. So but we measure all of these put together, really brings about this whole holistic HWOL holistic view of a life that we're building, using our business income to support it, not to define it.
Right. So I was thinking earlier, what is your word? So are your words then flexibility and sustainability?
For fulfillment,
Yeah.
for me, impact is a big one, and I go further in. To me, it is being seen and to see the person next to me. So I really see a lot of what I want to do for others is what I felt I was missing, especially in my 20s and 30s, is no, I didn't have that female figure in my world who was an older woman who was saying to me, like, you got this, and seeing me, seeing my strengths, seeing my values, and encouraging me along the way. And I think oftentimes, like, man, if I would have had somebody in my life doing that for me. Now, I purposely put people in that place, but I didn't have that organically. And I think we're missing that in today's culture. Most of us don't live close to our parents. We don't have mothers and aunts and grandmothers who even we're business owners like we are if we're entrepreneurs. So they don't even understand this world. So we don't have those female figures. And then the competition and judgment feelings come up. And so to me, my goal is, what if we broke that cycle? What could we as women do if we broke that cycle and started that ball rolling and that snowball and trickle down, the butterfly effect of, if I impact you and you impact the next generation, you like, this just expands and explodes beyond. And then someday my daughters, if they choose to start a business, they're going to get the fruit of what I'm putting into the world right now. Maybe not directly from me, but because somebody else was impacted by what I do.
Beautiful. That and that's resonates to so many people in so many different ways. And it doesn't need to be as big as what you're describing to be powerful and to feel fulfilling, which is a huge measure of your success.
Yes. It could just be one person.
Yes. And, you know, I've been saying actually recently about, I frequently had said, you know, let's turn your ripples into waves. But then I thought for a minute and I said, you know, like that's kind of what I feel like I'm doing. I feel like one of the things that I do is I help people turn the ripples into waves, but that's not the point. The point of me doing that is actually so that those waves can turn into a tsunami, so that we can see meaningful, impactful change in a global space, at least societal, but in a global space where we are seeing that movement, like you say, where, you know, we have more equality amongst women, amongst genders, all genders and all races, creeds, colors, everything. Like this whole, like what that ripple really could be the start to the tsunami. And I get really excited that I go, the potential, the possibility. I get all evil laughter. Let's do it. Let's change the world. And it gets really fun. And it like, and I feel like that's the energy you're giving as well. Maybe a little less crazy, but that's all right.
Oh, no. I think it's just awesome though. If we can just, if we put ourselves out there and we create the space for other women to give permission to say, you can do this and you can have this. And then we give the next person permission. Whether it's a ripple or a wave, or eventually it's all going to be a tsunami because we're all doing it together. And that's why I love my community, because I run it a little differently than most communities. And I've actually had some coaches tell me I need to change my model. I'm like, I'm no longer going to work with you because you don't align with my values. Because I want people who come in there to know there's not a competition. There's room for everyone. And if I have people weekly tell me they found a new client in my community because I let them talk about their business without fear. I let them find their business bestie. I let them find collaborations and facilitate them. Like, why don't we do that? And I'm not getting paid to run that community. It's just free. It's just because I found a desire to have that for myself. So it's like, heck, I'm going to go make it. So that's part of it.
People say though, like when it comes to books and movies and art and things like that, they say create the thing that you needed, or the book that you wanted to read that wasn't there, or whatever that is. They always say that.
Exactly.
The proverbial day. So like, why can't that be the community?
Yep. And that's the ultimate piece for fulfillment. Yeah, exactly. So
and as a business strategist yourself, you know, like the power behind that and the validation that comes with having a space where you can talk about your business. I've said this all the time. Like, I have a marketing community of my own, and I've been in marketing. I could quote bunny ears here, because I've been in marketing communities where you're not allowed to market yourself. And that to me seems very counterintuitive.
Yes.
And that's the same with your business community. If it's a business community that you can't talk about your business in, then wait.
Yeah. And I get this. I get the reasoning behind it, but oftentimes it turns into the one who's the leader show. I didn't want it to be the Lonnie show. Like, honestly, I don't have the energy to manage all of you people. I love you so much, but no. And there's a lot of women in my community who do the exact same thing on the surface that I do. But I'm just like, I love that you're in here, because there's some women that I'm not going to connect with that you are. And there's some people who have a different flavor and they want to be supported a different way. And I'm not the person to do that, but she is. And I love that opportunity that it comes about because I'm not worried. Again, there's 7,000 women in this group right now. As of right now, it's about going to turn 4 in December. And I can't serve 7,000 women. I'd love to. But honestly, I don't want to. That wouldn't be fulfilling to me.
Absolutely. Collaboration over competition all the way. This has
Yeah.
just been like a mantra in my own business as well. So I love that
Yeah.
so much. And just to give us a really rounded look at success and success measurements, we're looking at time, energy, fulfillment. But then, of course, also there is the
Yeah.
income. Like that
Yeah.
exists. So
Oh, yeah.
at the
We
beginning of
definitely
this,
want that.
I yelled at you guys. I said, stop using only this. The key word there was only.
Yes.
Yes, we are also
Absolutely.
going to look at income. We are also going to look at how our financial success impacts our day to day. But it's
Yeah.
just really important to have an understanding that that is not what gives you and your energies and your activities value.
Yeah. And really honestly, Shauna, the last piece of that what I tell people is if I can make a profit margin in my time, in my energy, and in my fulfillment, making more money is easy. So if I'm coming up or my clients are coming up to like this wall, they're like, I feel like I'm hitting a wall again, or whatever, I'm overwhelmed or I'm really stressed, or I really want more money. I flip it again. I'm like, well, we can't make more money until we get more profit in these other 3 areas back to where they should be. And most of the time they're in a deficit in one of those areas and is pretty strong. So I just literally was on a client call this morning and she was like, I about lost my mind. I had a mental breakdown with my husband and I told him I can't do this anymore. I was like, what's going on? And she was finding a lack of energy because she maxed out her time and she was doing a job for a client she didn't love anymore. And it was just sucking her soul dry. And then of course, taking up too much time. And it was making her $1,000 a month, but it wasn't worth it in the end because if she freed up that time, she's now going to and so we immediately found relief there, found the profit margin again in time and energy. Her fulfillment's back up. And she's like, I already have a strategy and 2 people I can reach out to now because I have the time back to create to probably $3,000 of income right there.
That's amazing. And that's something that so many people put aside. I've had similar conversations with my colleagues, my frolics, my friends and colleagues who, they'll say, oh man, this client decided to end their time with me. They're going in another direction or whatever it is. They're very sad. I say that very silly because they know what's coming because I'm like, it's all right. They're just making room for something better.
Yeah.
And without fail, something better comes along
Absolutely.
typically within a month, maybe maximum 2. And that something better is sometimes in the form of those other forms of success. Sometimes they're like, oh, this actually released me of that time and energy commitment so that I can feel more fulfilled in this other thing.
Yes.
Or it made time room for somebody to come along. Okay, so and so was paying me $1,000 a month, and now all of a sudden so and so came up to me and was like, I'd like the same thing, and this is my budget, and it happens to be like 3 times as much. Excellent. Let's go. Power on. It makes all the difference. So now that we've covered time, energy, fulfillment, and income as a variety of ways that you can measure your success and ways that you can ensure the progress of your success, I wanted to ask you if there's anything we missed, if there's anything burning deep in your soul that you need to share with the world today before we close off.
Yes. So to wrap that all up, it really comes to the point of customizing your business for you and saying, like, if I had my dream time, my dream energy, my dream fulfillment, my dream income, it's going to be unique to me. It's going to be unique to Shauna. It's going to be unique to you. So stop letting other people define what all of those look like and start creating customized strategies that fit to give you those profit margins that you want. So that's really, really going to make all the difference. And one of the things that I really love to use to support my clients with that customization is connection marketing. And if you want to grow your audience and leads and connections faster than, I say, faster than a load of laundry. So it's 10 minutes a day, and everyone has 10 minutes a day to do connection marketing and could grow your leads in your business and your connections that you have. And you want access to that and how I do it in 10 minutes a day, how I grew my community to 7,000 in just 10 minutes a day, then go ahead and grab this free training, lonniejackson.com/10 and 10. Go ahead and grab it there. But the big thing I want to say is, like, if you haven't yet said and given yourself permission to say, can I customize my business to look more like me and more like my goals and my profit margins that I truly want, then it's time for you to do that.
Oh, goodness gracious. You know that when my head is bobbling so much it's gonna fall off. we're on a roll. This is it. Customization, personalization, making sure that you're in flow with your business matters.
Mm-hmm.
We could use a megaphone to shout it to the world. It's that important.
It's so
So take
important.
the time, check out. I need to now double check the actual LonnieJackson.com/10 in 10. Go check that out because it's going to make a difference to your business. Now, with that, I invite you all to join in the conversation. You know that the conversation does not end when we press close. We keep talking, we keep exploring these really cool concepts, and we keep exploring different ways to make our life the most fulfilled and beautiful and successful life in all of these different ways. With that, make sure you like, subscribe, follow, chat, share, all the things. We'll chat with you next time.